Hey, Susie Q. Hi, Michelle. Come on in, have a seat. Oh, geez, my leather wrap is coming off this dread.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, it is. Huh. Helps if you look at yourself in the mirror once in a while. Which I don't do a whole lot of. Only when necessary. And it isn't because I don't like looking at myself. You know, some people won't look in the mirror because they just don't like what they see. But that's not my case. I'm just too busy. I'm just too busy to pay attention to what is unraveling in my hair, I guess. Oh my goodness. How is everybody? How is everybody? Susan, it probably is because we're doing this in the Purple Door. The Purple Door is a closed group, and it probably has something to do with that. I don't exactly know what. But at least it keeps those scammers out. Because I don't like those guys dropping in on our live streams. I think it's rude and unnecessary. However, you know, we're being told so many things these days that I think it's a little unnerving to know exactly, you know, who to trust, who to listen to. So I've been telling a lot of people, trust your gut instinct on some of this stuff, you know? Like, trust your gut. What does your gut tell you when you hear things going on? But I wanted to talk about the scam artists for a minute. Yeah. My tea is not tea today. It's blue goo. Because it is so flippin' hot here. I'm not complaining. Because it could be much worse. And it has been in other places. But it's hot here today. So I'm drinking nice cold blue. I call it blue goo. Anyways. You know, there's always two perspectives to things. And y'all have probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again because originally when I started getting cloned and scammers started dropping in on my live streams and our different things that Grim and I do, it just pissed me off so bad. I didn't curse them. Grim would flat out curse them for doing what they were doing and, you know, preying on innocent people and whatnot. But I've come to learn that unfortunately, even within the scammer universe, if you will, there are people that are basically enslaved to these big scam operations whose sole purpose is to part people with their money. And they don't have they don't care who or what or how, they just want it done. And they will hold people accountable for making said number of phone calls per day and will threaten their lives and the lives of their family if they don't do it. So although I really hate those scam artist people that drop in and try to, you know, con people, it's annoying. Hopefully a lot of us recognize it enough now that we don't fall victim for it like we were. But my heart really goes out to some of those people because, and it always has, like when that started happening, I would say to folks, Grim would curse them, like I said, but I would say something like, you know, whatever has brought you to this part of your life where you feel it's necessary to like cheat and lie to people to get them to give you thousands of dollars, whatever it is that has brought you to that point in your life, may things improve for you. Because it can't be a very, you know, they may be making money somewhere, but that's all dark money. That's by negative gains. So whatever prosperity that they achieve comes at a great cost, right? Yeah, Carla says, "Oh shit, human trafficking." Yes,
And that's exactly what it is.
it's exactly
People,
what it
they
is.
fall victim to job interviews where they're being told they're getting a tech job. They fly to this country, and as soon as they land, they lose access to their passports and identification and their tech job.
And they become a slave.
Yeah, their tech job is a phone room with mandatory quotas and
Mandatory quotas, and if you don't make it, you get beaten or starved or worse. Anyways,
so now my curse is at the traffickers, not the scammer themselves.
right. And actually, what we need to be focusing is on reversing the wrong thinking, the twisted thinking that made that okay in the first place.
Yeah.
Our capitalist economy, our greed-driven, and I mean global society. I don't know about, like, I know that there are still places where people, I mean, I think if we were left to our own devices, Grim, we'd live rather humbly and simply, right?
Maybe a cabin on top of a mountain.
Right? And so I know that there are people out there, but, well, anywho.
Well, there's a person that I listen to, and I take great stock in what he has to say online, made a statement today that's really kind of burning in my head. We are now into two types of people, the haves and the desperate.
The haves and the desperates. Yes, that's true. Well, it certainly is going in that direction, and I know with soaring food costs and housing crisis everywhere, and no matter how much you want to maybe stick your head in the sand and kind of think that it's really not happening, it's kind of hard to avoid. And I don't mean any of you are doing that, but I do know a few people, not in this group, but I do know a few people that are like, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. They
And
really think
experience great shock.
yeah, and then experience great shock when something actually happens. But I'm going to say hello to some folks here. I see a lot of folks gathering around. Hi, Susan and Michelle and Carla and Kat. Hello, hello. And Christy Reed and Jane and Angela T and Virginia Chase and Victoria Williams, Kimmy King, Shelley Brown. Hello, hello. Yes, and I love the hashtag withstanding. I mean, that came up over this last week. One of the people in our Root and Read class, we have private sessions with those folks as well. And during one of our private sessions, it came up that this person had reached out to another Root and Read person, and they didn't know each other beforehand. They just decided to maybe chat and talk, and it warms my heart because we are all there for each other. And even though I know there are quite a few of us that have been trying to kind of stay, I don't know, if you're like me, I try to be judicial about how I spend my online time. For a while there, it was every day, all day, for the most part, and that's not a healthy way to live either. So I've been trying to be much more in the physical world and doing my stuff here at the old church with Grim. And I feel like I'm bringing things back into balance. But that doesn't negate or dismiss the fact that the people that I meet here daily, you guys really make my world more complete. And I think that Grim and I do the same for you. And, we don't really know what we're doing, this whole hashtag withstanding thing. I've never started a hashtag trend before, but we've been going slowly at it. And I think for those of us that know what it means, we really, really, really know what it means. Because we've learned to lean on one another. We've learned that if things are going down the tubes, we can reach out. We might not have friends or family in the area, but there's someone out there in our Purple Door community that vibes with us. And I love that. I love that, and I cherish you all.
When I was out in the yard a few days ago in the gardens, tracking down all the vines from the grapes and figuring out how I'm going to string them and run them and make them stand up on their own, I started to build a trellis and then changed my mind because there's a word that kept going through my head.
What was the word?
The withstanding. I started building tripods out of branches to let them grow up. 3 branches
Oh,
held together at the center, pointed north to the sky. And now those vines are growing stronger and wrapping around with more determination than they were with that ad hoc fence I was attempting to create.
oh, interesting.
But as I was putting the branches together, leaning them into each other, we're withstanding. And then I go and build my next tripod. So, yeah.
Do you know what this means?
What?
Louder.
Oh, I didn't see.
Louder. That means louder.
I was caught in withstanding land.
I'm over here going louder, louder, and he's not paying any attention to me whatsoever. Oh my goodness. Well, look at my hair today, y'all. Frizz, frizz, frizz with this humidity. Holy moly. But that's okay. I go with the flow. And
It is so hot and humid.
it is really hot and humid, but we're not in Louisiana
This
or
is true.
Texas. It's got to be hot down there. Let's see. Oh gosh, Edie Esty dropped in here. Hello, dear friend. I have to jump on the lake right quick and be right back. Keep talking, beautiful. Glad to see you in alignment today. Thank you. I feel in alignment today, and I wish I was jumping in a lake with you. I wonder what lake she's jumping into. Edie, I need you to come walk the property with us because we have unidentified plants. We need to know what they are. Alrighty. Tammy Gibson is here. I'm glad you're here too. Blessed be. That's awesome. And Virginia says, Gussie and Grim, we wouldn't come to appreciate your wisdom and knowledge after all these years if this is the best and most legit group of witches. Aw, that means so much to me because I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you, and I know I'm a little biased. I mean, I have to be biased. It would only seem natural to be biased about the Purple Door because I've been a part of the Purple Door. I started the Purple Door from a little seed of a nugget called Bell Book and Candle. And that was way back, like, you know, in like 2013, and it's moved forward over the years. And some of you, like, I know some of your names, gosh, I've known you for a greater portion of that time. And
some of the strongest, longest lasting relationships that we have sprang forth from the founding of this group.
Some of the strongest, most longest lasting relationships we have sprang from this group. That is absolutely true. And I know it's not for everybody, and it doesn't mean that we haven't had our fair share of assholery in there through the years. We've had a couple of people that we've had to boot because, I mean, I don't like gatekeeping like that, but I'm not going to put up with that kind of bullshit when you're calling out another person or being rude for no reason. And, you know, Grim and I let things go. Like, we'll let things go to the very edge to let people see if they can handle things on their own. But sometimes, as an admin, you just got to step in and put your foot down and say, no fucking way. But overall, I think the Purple Door group, I wish we were all a little more active, but I also know that a lot of us are just being judicial with our time online. If you are a member of the Purple Door Herbalist Guild, that poor guild, we get it going and then it like fizzles, and then we get it going and it fizzles, and it get it going and it fizzles. And most of the reason for that is because Grim and I are trying, we wear so many different hats that to keep things rolling means we got to keep ourselves rolling. And if one thing, like one little cog in the wheel, you know, moves, it's like the whole thing shifts. And so what I think I'm going to do for those of you that are in the Herbalist Guild is in the Herbalist Guild chat group, the big one, I think that every Wednesday we'll just announce a new herb and let you guys go crazy. go crazy filling in the herb information on the page, on the group page, rather than Graham and I trying to make stuff or, teach stuff or whatever. Let you guys go get the info and bring it together.
We are a collective.
We are a collective. Down here, I was reading, LJ's here, that's good, and Michelle says, it's hot in Alabama for sure. Tammy Gibson says, withstanding means a lot to me and makes sense. It does to me too, Tammy. I have no hope for all of you who want to play with Mr. Heat Miser. He told you he was Mr. 101, but you asked to be at the cookout regardless. True. I remember that song. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. something something. I'm Mr. 101. They call me Heat Miser. Whatever I touch. Psst. Assholery, Kat says. Assholery, it's me. I'm the asshole. No, that's not true. Virginia says, I'm not an asshole. I'm a Taurus. Christy Reed remembers witches, whiskey, and weed. That's going back a minute, isn't it? We've been talking about reviving that, but I can't find a witch that wants to smoke weed with me online. On a live stream.
Plenty of whiskey drinkers.
Plenty of whiskey drinkers. And Angela says, let me know. I'll help with the weekly warts. I will definitely let you know. We're going to get it back rolling and make it more accessible for everybody so it's not just, me or Grim trying to disseminate 50,000 pieces of information all the time. Virginia says, that's a really cool idea. I'm a learner by doing person. Emily snuck in. Hello, Jam. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, you guys, let's pull a card.
For a minute, I thought I was going to have to send Jem after somebody in the purple door.
Why is that? You were going to have to sick Jem on him?
Yep.
I'll tell you, Jem is quiet, but she is a don't take no shit kind of person when it comes to her family.
Well, it really wasn't.
People she loves.
There was a bit of that on my part. 'Cause when I first read the comment within the purple door that instigated my thought, it was about our name, Duck.
There's a comment in there about
Somebody
our name?
had said, thanks for the ad, but you all have weird names or something on that lines. And my first response was defensive. But then I can understand why she would say that. So
She doesn't know about our comment.
Doesn't know. So I did my bit to explain. But what I got to thinking was I should have Emily do that because she became a dub. Or any of our dubs, really.
Yeah, that's
explain
true.
it rather than you and I constantly trying to keep, because I feel like I'm not always getting the point across what it means because we have our perspective.
We do have our perspective. That's true. I didn't see that comment. I'll have to go find it. So she wasn't rude. She was just saying, what's up with...
I think it could have been said with a little more tact. But I don't think that was the intention, no.
I'm going to say a witch's name from a few years back. Some of you will know this, and when I say it, you'll chuckle. I'm not going to say the full name. I'm just going to say the first name. But when I say this first name, I know if you think back, you will have seen this person make negative comments all the time. And it was funny because of, as negative Nancy as she was, her name was Honey. Do you remember? Oh, Honey. In Purple Door, she was not very sweet, Honey. Oh, that's good.
I remember that one.
Yes. Oh, Jerry Van Dam is here. Hi, Jerry. We've been thinking about you an awful lot this week, haven't we, Grim? Talking about the bus and thinking about his grandsons and all those things. I don't know. You've just been on our minds a lot lately, Jer. Let's see. Got the card popped out. Ooh, I've not seen this one. So the beautiful thing about this deck that I'm using, it's the Dark Mansion Tarot. And it's a deck that I was gifted a few months back. And I like the size of the cards, actually. I really like how they fit in my hand. But also, what I love about it is that I haven't seen a majority of these images yet because, you know, there's all of the cards in a tarot deck and it takes a while to see them. A couple of them I've seen a few times in my purveyance, like this one. This old Ace of Pentacles keeps popping up for a lot of you, and it popped up for us last week in this group. So I've seen that card a few times along with a few others. But the two that popped up today, this one, I don't remember seeing this one before, and maybe I have, but it's the Six of Cups card for the group. Six of Cups. Let me show you the picture. Oh yeah, I put it on my forehead, right? Six of Cups. Six of Cups. You know, I hope over the weekend, I know some of you experienced losses. And I don't say that lightly because I know that there are, you know, death, whenever it comes, grief, wherever it might be, it never really leaves us. Jem and I were talking about that earlier today. It just kind of, you know, moves around, shifts around a little bit in your life. But grief is always there once you've experienced a loss. But over the weekend, we were going to focus on doing something peaceful for ourselves. And I really hope that you were able to find some peace, some quiet, some quietude for your soul somewhere. I hope that you were able to, I don't know, carve out a little bit of time for you. I know that a lot of us, you know, we're doing better at that than we have in the past. And so it might sound like I'm, you know, preaching the same old story. But I think that as much as there has been so much going on in the world, and as frequently as people are feeling kind of exhausted and tapped out, or maybe just non-creative, or just like, you know, you just have enough to, I'm just saying there's not a lot of extra energy floating around amongst people I know. We're all a little zapped and drained. But the Six of Cups card, and you know, you've heard me say it before, it's a reminder to look at all the abundance and the beauty that is around us all of the time. It's about being surrounded by positive things in our life, things that bring us joy. And I mean, you know, sometimes I'll walk through the church, and if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed or distressed about something, I have my favorite places that I like to sit. I'll go and I'll sit and I'll just let my eyes rest on something that, I don't know, looking at the combination of things just makes my eyes kind of go calm. It makes me feel calmer. Things in my world that have found their space, things that I like, the collage that we've put together on that wall, or the way that trunk looks in that light. There's certain things that appeal to me, and they resonate with my soul, and I'm like, yes. Some of you might feel that way when you're outside in the garden, or you might feel that way when you're playing with your children. You know, who knows what it is that triggers that joyous response in you, that little moment of a little skip of your heart, and you go, wow, like, I can't believe I feel so much love and joy in my heart in those split seconds sometimes. We don't often get enough of those, and a lot of times we're surrounded by things, and yet we're so distracted by other things right in front of us that we don't take the time to see the other things on the edges. Well, now is the time to start looking at the things that exist around the edge. Those are important too. They're moved to the side out of your peripheral, out of your forward vision, but they're still there. They're still there in the periphery waiting. And that's not meant to be something creepy and spooky or anything like that. It's all about perspective. and how much you're willing and able to see at a certain time in your life. Sometimes it's all we can do to handle what we've got going on. But oftentimes, if you take a moment to tune into the positive things, to just take a moment, you know that old adage about, stop and smell the roses? That is so completely true. So completely true. If we don't take time to stop and smell the roses, we are just flying through life and we miss the positivity altogether. Because right now there's so much negative kind of in many, many, many categories and areas of our lives that we're all just kind of treading water and trying to keep our own vibrations high. And I'm proud of you for doing that, because it has not been easy. We all kind of went into 2024 and we knew it was going to be a stinker of a year, because there were a lot of astrological occurrences in 2024 that are like, wow. So we knew it wasn't going to be easy, but man, it has really been a challenging 2024 for a lot of folks. And I think it's going to continue along that vein. But underneath that intensity is this bouncing, rhythmic, happy, peaceful positivity that I know is because we are keeping focused on that. We are keeping our vibes up, keeping the positivity high, trying not to and I'm not saying, you're feeling bad about something. Well, don't think about it. Lock it up in a shadow box for 25 years. I'm not saying that. But if you're feeling low and you don't have the chance, you don't have the opportunity or the ability to let yourself go dark and deep and depressed right then, stop. Why do you need to go dark and deep and depressed? Do you need to go dark and deep and depressed again, or is it just a habit for you at this point? Sometimes it becomes a habit because we get so used to living there. We get so used to living in that darkness that it's what feels comfortable. And the other stuff, the positive stuff, the things that are like, success and abundance and the positivity that is around us, we start to look at that as sort of the, some kind of an evil entity, or like the opposite of what we're really supposed to experience. It's very mind-boggling. Remember, money is always all about energy and flow. And so is peace. And so is love. So let yourself evolve. Some folks, they reach out and they're worried and scared and things are shifting. And I'm of the mind nowadays that each one of these shifts, no matter, and some of them have been scary and painful, folks. I don't talk about my life a lot. Edie knows a little bit about it. But my life has been to the point where I've been really on the brink with nowhere to turn. And there's still light. You just got to keep vibing and keep reaching for it, and keep remembering that you don't need to be pulled down into the darkness with everyone in your life because you love them. It's a choice you make. And some of you have started to make a different choice. And Grim and I are really proud of you for those too. Because some of you have started to say, you know what? I'm sorry you're living in this sad, dark place, but I'm not going to live there with you anymore. Time for you to rise up. Time for you to rise up and have some different expectations for yourself. Some of you are standing up for yourself and not letting people step all over your boundaries anymore, and I'm proud of that. That is definitely not an easy thing to overcome. It sounds like it would be, but it really isn't. It really isn't. So I got another card that popped out while I was shuffling. And, that's how I read. I shuffle till one pops. I used to do the whole, do the card spread. And I still do that sometimes for people, especially if it's their first time getting a reading. But Like for y'all, we've been doing this so long, I just shuffle and when one pops out, that's the card. But today, poo topped out. There's my dyslexia showing for you. 2 popped out. And the second card today was the Temperance card in reverse. Now, while I've got a small group of you here, because it says there's 10 folks, so I'm asking you 10 folks, what does, and let me turn it this way for you, what does the Temperance card, can you see what's going on there? Let your eyes rest on the things that are important in the picture. Sometimes it's the person, sometimes it's a little detail, sometimes it's even in the border pieces. It all really depends. You have to trust yourself. Kimmy says balance. Yes, balance is very good. Balance is very good and a very probable answer. Well, temperance is all about balance. It's about, you know, not having too much of something and not having enough. That, Shelley, I thought it was a pink lotus, but I think it isn't a pink lotus. It's just a it's a lily pad with a lotus flower on it. But yeah, balance, right? Balance. And it can be really, really challenging for the empath. And here's that why. Here's why. Here's that why. I can't talk today. It's all about that balance, and here's why. When I do any of my psychic mediumship, when I do any channeling, it used to be a big problem for me to do like my 9-to-5 job and then come home and be a mom, and I was getting my master's degree and also directing a children's theater, and I was just an extremely busy woman. And even in the midst of all that, I wouldn't allow myself to really do a lot with my spirituality, because to me, I mean, I did, don't get me wrong. It's not like I turned it off for 20 years or anything like that. But I definitely put it on the back burner. When my kids were small, they were raised understanding the seasons and the moon. And I never hid my witchcraft from them. But also, you know, I didn't always remember to make full moon water. Sometimes I crashed into bed because somebody was sick that day, or you know, there were just things that got in the way. But I found it increasingly difficult to keep myself in the Muggle world balanced and in the spiritual world balanced. I found myself with a foot in both worlds. And that felt off to me. I really wanted to be, you know, in one or the other, because being in this like in-between state was so off-putting for me. It caused me a lot of issues. It caused me, you know, I had some memory difficulty. I had some weird headaches. I had anxiety attacks. I figured out it was vibrational frequency shift. It was ascension, essentially. And since then, I've found that keeping my foot in both worlds is exactly where I like to be. It's exactly where I find my balance. Because before, when I was all Muggle, and I only let myself, you know, experience the spiritual on the weekends, or if I had some free time, or a friend invited me to a meditation, or, you know, some event was going on. But now that I incorporate magic in my daily rounds so much more frequently, I find that keeping my foot on both sides of the veil is just exactly where I want to be. And those of you that are experiencing that very same thing, I know it can be frightening when you start to let go of some of the Muggle mindset you've been living by. And I don't mean that in a derogatory fashion. I don't say muggle with a negative connotation. I'm just saying, boy, I'm going to sneeze. We must have ancestors nearby because I really feel my nose tickling. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, Edie. Yes, yes, yes. If you're still here, you know Ray's not far. You know Ray is not far.
I was just thinking about him.
You were just thinking about him? Yeah, I love Ray. Ray is, for those of you that are going, what the hell is Gussie talking about? Edie is a friend of ours that lives here in the area that we've known for a very long time. She helped us out of a really bad spot a couple times in our lives. And she's a dear friend, like family to us. And Grim grew really close to her father, Ray, before he passed. And we helped him in his transition hours. And he was just a really wonderful guy. Just a wonderful, no-nonsense kind of guy. And I think that's what you loved about him the most, wasn't it, Grim?
I don't know if I would have been a good son for him.
You don't know if you would have been a good son? Why is that?
He was a tough man.
He was a tough man, no nonsense, but he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
Edie said she needed him today. Well, you know, he's not far. And I have to tell you, before I go, a couple things that I wanted to tell you. One is, you know, this card that we were looking at before, the Six of Cups, about looking for the joy in the areas around yourself that you might not necessarily always recognize because we get so tuned to the dark side of things, the shadows. Our brains are so used to, you know, waiting for the other shoe to fall. We're used to the next wave to hit us that's going to knock us down. We don't trust positivity. When it comes our way, we think if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Unfortunately, that's the kind of I don't know why I just got these words in my head. And it's making me laugh. It's like I just heard the word batshit. Like somebody got mad. Like batshit? Like what? I don't know what that's about.
God, I leave the room for 1 second and start cursing.
I know. It's like I just heard batshit. Batshit. Anyways, this is not batshit. And I don't know why. Who's telling me batshit? But this is it's a reminder that there is always energy around us. The energy is all around us. So when we're feeling depleted and we're like, God, I can't go on. I'm just at the end of my rope. I don't have anything left to give. It's your opportunity to receive. If you recognize that you're depleted and you got nothing left, ask and receive. Breathe in that energy. Breathe in that white, crystalline, healing, Christ consciousness energy. That is the highest, whitest, purest form of energy healing that we're capable of working with. Now, there might be something, you know, I'm not involved in all the dimensions that I'm consciously aware of. So there may be some really incredible light out there. As a matter of fact, I'm sure there is. But what we have now, what we recognize as the pinnacle of healing is that white, bright white light. And as we go through our rounds, as we go through our spiritual shifts, as we become more aware and awake about understanding who we are as individuals on our sovereign journey, we also begin to recognize and experience energies and entities from other realms of existence. They're right next to ours. Like, you know, like folded pieces of fabric right on top of one another. And in some cases, remember, it's not an actual physical barrier. It's an energetic barrier. It's all vibrational frequency. So once in a while, those things undulate, and the more you are aware and conscious of these beings, the more you will be perceiving them. It's kind of like, when you decide that you want to buy, let's say you wanted to buy a red pickup truck. And then you go on a road trip with your friend. And while you're driving down the road, all of a sudden, you see just one after another, red truck, red truck, red truck, red truck. And you're like, wow, it's more popular than I thought. You are bringing red truck vibration to your perspective, to your purveyance. It's similar when we start becoming more awake and aware about our surrounding, which, remember, we can only see, gosh, I've said this so many times to y'all. Please don't criticize me for saying it again. 3% of the known visible universe. 3%. That means other animals, other species can see differently, see different levels of perception than we can. So it is highly likely. No, it is likely. I'm not saying it's highly likely. It is likely. There are things that have been around you your whole life that you can't see. So when you hear someone talk about shadow people and, they're scared because they see this shadow person moving in the corner of their eye, relax, tell them to calm, and tell them they've always been there. Shadow people are weird observers. I'm not quite sure what they're up to, but I've never known them to harm anyone. They just kind of stare and watch and regard. That is a little unnerving, but also if you ask them to go, they usually do. Don't let this stuff get too carried away in your mind. Yes, I believe in ghosts and other energies. I believe in demons and disincarnates, but I don't let them run away with my fears. And you shouldn't either. All right, I think that's enough for today. We covered a lot of topics. I hope that whoever needed to hear this today heard it. I hope that if you need or would like a reading from me or from Grimm, that you reach out. I'll be honest, I've got several different accounts and I'm horrible at checking a couple of them. So if you don't hear from me, don't get pissed. Just find me in another location. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can find me. It's not too hard. So please reach out. Also, don't forget 9 p.m. tonight, Pause for Peace. We are definitely, still doing that at 9 p.m., letting ourselves just do a little decompression, a little resetting, and sharing our peace, love, and harmony with the rest of the world. Goddess knows we need it right now. And don't forget, on the 28th of the month, we will be doing our Purple Door Witch Wave, so we hope you are there. I think that's it. Oh, the deck, Edie, the deck is called the Dark Mansion Tarot deck. Dark Mansion Tarot. It's really cute. I love the art. All right, y'all. I love you. I hope that... Oh, Susan says there's a full strawberry moon. Yes, that's right. This Friday, the 21st. Thank you for that. That was one of the things I was going to tell you through my life. Even though I have claimed the title witch for a very long time, and so has Grimm, we don't always observe every full moon. We don't always remember all of those Esbats and Sabbats, and, well, Sabbats we do, but, I mean, there is no requirement for perfection in witchcraft, which is why I love it so much. There's no doctrine or anything that I need to follow, a checkbox I need to check off, or something I need to make sure that I do every time or it's not done right. I love Ish Witchery. I love you. Stay magical. See you on Wednesday at 4:20.